All right, hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome back to the Law Entrance YouTube channel and to another session of the Hindu analysis. Today is 13th of August. It's a lovely Thursday evening. We are live. Sincere apologies for the slight delay. The Wi-Fi was acting up a bit. But yeah, here we are finally. I hope I'm audible and visible to everyone. Please give me a yes in the chat. If audio is fine, video is fine, and we are good to go, ready to go. A lot of you are here in the chat. Oh my god, that's a long chat you guys have had. Okay, let me just quickly browse through it. Pratyush is here, Dev is here, Charu is here. Tomorrow is Charu's birthday. क्या बात है? Advance happy birthday wishes to Charu. All right, Rama is here. GK fact of the day. ICC is also headquartered in Hague, but ICG and ICC are completely different. I have told this to you in the class. You cannot give a fact which I already told you in class. The concept is to bring a new fact, Ramaji, but I appreciate the effort. Good evening, Piyush. Good evening, Ruhi. Okay, who else is here? बहुत लंबी चैट हो गई यार. Siddhi is here, Arya is here, Ashikeet is here, Aradhya is here, Ananya is here, Devika is here, Anirudh is here, Varshika is here. ठीक है. चारू सिंह सर, आई मिस्ड यू सर. आपकी आवाज सुन के मेरा फीवर उतर जाएगा. क्या बात है. दैट्स अ बिग कॉम्प्लीमेंट. थैंक यू सो मच. आई होप आपका फीवर जल्दी उतर जाए. होप यू गेट वेल सून. अविराज इज हियर. आई ट्रस्ट यू आर हैविंग अ मोस्ट अग्रीएबल इवनिंग सर. इंडीड मिस्टर शशि चोपड़ा जी. मिली इज ऑल्सो हियर. ऑलराइट, ठीक है. चलो, बहुत बढ़िया. क्या हाल चाल है सबके? हाउ इज एवरीवन डूइंग? काफी कम लोग क्यों आ रहे हैं कल और आज? काफी कम है टर्न आउट स्ट्रीम पे. ऐसा क्यों भाई? आर यू गाइस रनिंग बिजी विद सम अदर एरेंड्स? ऐसा क्यों है कि मेरी स्ट्रीम के नंबर्स ड्रॉप हो रहे हैं? मुझे ये बिल्कुल भी नहीं पसंद है. तो लेके आओ, दो दो लोग पकड़ के स्ट्रीम पे लेके आओ. ये सब आपकी जिम्मेदारी है. ठीक है, इतनी मेहनत कर रहा हूँ मैं आप लोगों के लिए. थोड़ी मेहनत आप भी करें. ठीक है, सबका साथ सबका विकास करेंगे हम लोग, जैसा मोदी जी चाहते हैं. तो मैं आपका विकास कर रहा हूँ, आप भी मेरा विकास करिए. ब्रिंग मोर पीपल टू द स्ट्रीम फोक्स. ऑन दैट नोट, उससे मुझे याद आया, कल है फ्राइडे, which means कल हम करेंगे अपना मेंटी क्विज, द मच अवेटेड मेंटी क्विज. द टॉपिक इज करंट अफेयर्स फॉर द मंथ ऑफ जुलाई. और मेरे पास एक और बहुत ही बढ़िया अपडेट है आप लोगों के लिए. बता दूं या नेक्स्ट वीक बताऊं? क्योंकि जो चीज़ है वो इम्प्लीमेंट हम नेक्स्ट वीक से करेंगे, बट अप्रूवल मुझे मिल गया है. बता दूं या नेक्स्ट वीक ही बताऊं आप लोगों को? सरप्राइज बताओ, क्या चाहते हो? शुड आई रिवील द सरप्राइज राइट नाउ और शुड आई जस्ट reveal it when it goes live? टा 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 टा. सर आपकी सीआर की क्लास कब से होगी? अरे हो गई है शुरू आयुष भाई. सीआर की क्लास हमने कल फर्स्ट क्लास कर भी ली. इंट्रोडक्शन टू लॉजिकल रीजनिंग 5:30 PM एवरी वेंसडे. एंड नेक्स्ट वीक से हम लोग 2 क्लासेस करने वाले हैं. किन डेज पे करेंगे वो मैं एग्जैक्टली आपको बता दूंगा, कल बता दूंगा. And the classes have started. Please watch the first class. That was an introductory class where we discussed strategy, where we discussed what is a logical argument, what are assumptions, what are inferences, what are conclusions, the basics. Then हम एक एक करके अब नेक्स्ट क्लासेस करेंगे, सारे टॉपिक्स करेंगे, फिर उनकी बढ़िया से प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद एनालिटिकल रीजनिंग भी करेंगे, फिर पूरा रिवीजन भी करेंगे. तो पूरी रीजनिंग की जिम्मेदारी मैंने अपने नाजुक कंधों पे उठा ली है आप लोगों की. आपको बस क्लास में आना है. क्लास में नहीं आ सकते तो बाद में वीडियो देखनी है, जैसी आपकी श्रद्धा. क्लास में आओगे तो मुझे ज़्यादा अच्छा लगेगा. तो सीक्रेट चलो बता ही देता हूँ मैं आप लोगों को. जो अपडेट है, स्पिल स्पिल करके सब लोगों ने चैट बॉक्स भर दिया है. सीआर क्लास नहीं रिवील कर रहा हूँ मैं. सीआर क्लास ऑलरेडी रिवील कर चुका हूँ. व्हाट आई एम गोना रिवील इज दैट आई विल आल्सो बी टीचिंग अ न्यू सीरीज फॉर यू गाइस व्हिच इज गोना बी करंट अफेयर्स. तो सलिक सर काफी टाइम से बिजी चल रहे थे. सलिक सर आपको करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ाते थे. जो टॉपिक न्यूज में रहते थे, जो हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी टॉपिक्स थे, उनको ए टू जेड तक पढ़ाने का जिम्मा भी मैंने अपने ही नाजुक कंधों पे ले लिया है. तो अपार्ट फ्रॉम हिंदू एनालिसिस, व्हाट वी आर गोना डू इज स्टडी द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट जीके टॉपिक्स जो आप लोग मुझसे बार बार पूछते रहते हो, सर जीके में क्या क्या आएगा, कौन से टॉपिक आएंगे, कौन से मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक हैं, उन टॉपिक को हम कैसे ए टू जेड कवर करें, तो मैं कराऊंगा आपको कवर ए टू जेड, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमिक्स, उन सब के पीछे की स्टैटिक जीके, उन सब के आगे की करंट अफेयर्स अपडेट, उनके पहले की करंट अफेयर्स अपडेट्स, सब कुछ, सब कुछ मतलब सब कुछ। ठीक है, और क्लास थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट स्टाइल से करूंगा मैं। लाइक हिंदू एनालिसिस तो हम डिस्कशन करते हैं, एनालिसिस करते हैं, वो वाली क्लास में आई वुड of course have a discussion on the news updates and all of those things, and उसमें I also want to do a ongoing quiz kind of a thing. आई थिंक सलीक सर भी उस टाइप का कुछ किया करते थे, तो मैं अपने स्टाइल से कुछ करूंगा उसमें। देखते हैं, क्लास का मैंने अभी जो है ब्लूप्रिंट बनाया नहीं है, बट आई वुड ट्राई टू मेक इट एज एंगेजिंग एज पॉसिबल, जिसमें ऑलमोस्ट हर क्लास में हम एक क्विज करें, मेंटी क्विज करेंगे या सीएल प्लेटफॉर्म पे क्विज करेंगे या फिर ऐसे ही चैट वाला क्विज करेंगे, दैट आई एम येट टू डिसाइड, बट वी गोना हैव अ क्विज एवरी क्लास, एटलीस्ट आई ट्राई कि एवरी क्लास हम लोग क्विज करें। तो क्विज बनाने में टाइम लगेगा, मेहनत भी लगेगी, एंड उस मेहनत के बदले मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप सब लोग उन सारी क्लासेस को अटेंड करें। ठीक है, टाइम हम लोगों ने अभी फिक्स नहीं किया है, हमने डिसाइड नहीं किया है, बट आई फिगर इट आउट। कोई ऐसा टाइम रखेंगे जिसपे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग अटेंड कर पाएँ, एंड मैं भी अवेलेबल हूँ। ठीक है, तो अपडेट यही है कि आप लोगों को करंट अफेयर्स अपार्ट फ्रॉम द न्यूज़पेपर पे तो हम मोस्टली एडिटोरियल्स डिस्कस करते हैं, एंड कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट जो न्यूज़पेपर में अपडेट्स होती हैं वो करते हैं। उसके अलावा बहुत सारी अपडेट्स बच जाती हैं जो मंथन में है, मंथन 2.0 में है, डेली जी के वेबसाइट्स पे हैं, वो सारी चीज़ें कोलेट करके आई ट्राई टू ब्रिंग इट टू यू। रोज की जो करंट अफेयर्स के अपडेट्स हैं, रोज तो क्लास नहीं होगी हमारी, मे बी वंस और ट्वाइस अ वीक होगी, बट आई विल इंश्योर कि उस वीक की जितनी भी सारी जीके है मैं आपको ए टू जेड पूरी पढ़ा दूं उस पर्टिकुलर क्लास में। वो मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव रहेगा। अब उसको हम कितना अचीव कर पाते हैं, दैट टाइम वुड टेल, बट आई विल गिव माय लेवल बेस्ट, एंड आई वांट यू गाइस टू शो अप। दैट्स इट, दैट्स ऑल आई वांट फ्रॉम यू, टू शो अप। ठीक है, तो तैयार है हम लोग जीके की नई सीरीज स्टार्ट करने के लिए? गुड इवनिंग स्वरा जी। Charles saying, I consider this my birthday gift. That's great. What is chat saying? सर दिख नहीं रहे, आपकी सीआर क्लास कहाँ से चेक करें? अरे लाइव में जाके चेक करो यार, लाइव सेक्शन में जाके, कल ही तो ली है मैंने क्लास। सर वी रियली लव यू, अरे आई लव यू गाइस a little bit more. Am I saying sir don't say nazo cause Pratyush has been talking about your muscles, उसको दुख होगा। अरे ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। यस, लाइव क्लासेस होंगी, ऑब्वियसली लाइव होंगी। आई ट्राई माई बेस्ट कि मैक्सिमम क्लासेस लाइव हो, कभी मैं अगर अवेलेबल नहीं हूँ तो रिकॉर्ड कर दूंगा, बट मोस्टली लाइव होंगी। ठीक है, ओके ओके ओके। गुड इवनिंग प्रसूति। What's the difference between मंथन वीकली एंड मंथन 2.0? सी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव कवरेज के लिए दो अलग अलग मैगजीन्स हैं, दोनों में जीके ही होती है, दोनों में करंट अफेयर्स ही होती है, सो दोनों करनी है आपको, डिफरेंस कोई नहीं है। गुड इवनिंग स्वरूप। ओके चलो, साइन कर ही दो उसके फेस पे, प्रत्युष को पोस्ट मलोन बना दो। क्या बात है, अच्छा आइडिया है प्रत्युष भाई, आर यू अप फॉर इट? आई एम अप फॉर इट। चलो ठीक है, आई होप इस खबर को सुन के आप में खुशी की लहर दौड़ चुकी है। आई एम ऑल्सो वेरी एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट। मुझे बहुत टाइम से मन था आप लोगों को करंट अफेयर्स उस तरीके से पढ़ाने का, बट सलीक सर के पेट पे लात नहीं मारना चाहता था मैं, बट अब सलीक सर कुछ ज़्यादा ही बिजी चल रहे हैं, तो ये जिम्मेदारी मुझे सौंपी गई है। ऐसे कह सकते हो ये जिम्मेदारी मैंने छीनी है एक तरीके से उनसे, एंड आई एम प्रीटी हैप्पी अबाउट इट। ठीक है, चलो बढ़िया। तो अब क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग पूरी करा दूंगा आप लोगों को, जीके करंट अफेयर्स पूरे करा दूंगा, न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस तो हमारा जिंदाबाद है ही। ठीक है, और जिंदाबाद रहेगा। ऑलराइट, आज का एजेंडा देख लेते हैं। जस्टिस वर्मा साहब के लिए थोड़ी सी बुरी खबर है आज, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो बहुत सारे नोट कमा लिए थे उनमें से बहुत सारे जल भी गए थे, और फिर वो बहुत सारे पकड़े भी गए थे। तो फाइनली पैनल ने कह दिया है कि जस्टिस वर्मा साहब अच्छा नहीं किया आपने हमारे साथ, एंड इंक्वायरी ने पाया है कि ये भाई साहब जो है निर्दोष नहीं है, इनको जो है देखा जाएगा क्या सजा दी जाएगी। इन्होंने पहले ही रिजाइन कर दिया, बाय द वे। उन्होंने कहा है कि इससे पहले आप लोग बताओ कि मुझे रिजाइन करना है, मैं खुद ही रिजाइन कर देता हूँ ताकि मेरी बेइज्जती थोड़ी सी कम हो। तो करेंगे थोड़ी सी बात जस्टिस वर्मा साहब की, जिन्होंने बहुत सारे पैसे कमा लिए हैं, और अब थोड़े से गवा दिए हैं। उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे थोड़ी सी इंडियाज कार्बन मनी की। कार्बन मनी से यहाँ पे मतलब है कार्बन एमिशंस एंड उससे रिलेटेड प्रोविजंस। सी बैम की हमने बात कई बार करी है, विच इज कार्बन बॉर्डर एडजस्टमेंट मैकेनिज्म, जो यूरोपियन यूनियन ने हम पे लगाया है टू काइंड ऑफ क्रिएट अ बैलेंस इन कार्बन एमिशंस। एंड देन एक आर्टिकल है जो बात करता है डी डॉलराइजेशन की। डी डॉलराइजेशन इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट विच इज गोना बी इन न्यूज फॉर क्वाइट अ वाइल, बिकॉज ब्रिक समिट भी आने वाली है। इस बार ब्रिक समिट हम लोग होस्ट कर रहे हैं। हम लोग से मेरा मतलब है आप और मैं नहीं, इंडिया होस्ट कर रहा है। एंड देयर फॉर डी डॉलराइजेशन पे एक आर्टिकल है जहाँ पे द पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटी हैज आस्क्ड द गवर्नमेंट कि भाई क्या विचार है, डी डॉलराइजेशन करना है या नहीं करना है। डी डॉलराइजेशन का आसान भाषा में मतलब होता है डॉलर से दूर जाना। ठीक है, हर चीज का डॉलराइजेशन, क्रूड ऑयल हम डॉलर्स में खरीदते हैं, गोल्ड हम डॉलर्स में खरीदते हैं, फॉरेन एक्सचेंज डॉलर्स में मेंटेन करते हैं। तो ये सारा डॉलर का जो इन्फ्लुएंस है, डॉलर की जो ऑटोनॉमी है, उसको खत्म करना या उससे दूर जाना या उसका ऑल्टरनेट बनाना, दैट इज डी डॉलराइजेशन। अगर आपसे कोई पूछे क्या होता है डी डॉलराइजेशन, तो ये होता है डी डॉलराइजेशन। ठीक है, उसके अलावा 3 न्यू वोकैब वर्ड्स लाइक ऑलवेज, लाइक वी डू। एंड आज न्यूज़पेपर पे भी काफी सारी चीजें हैं हमारे पास। देयर आर अराउंड 8 to 9 आर्टिकल्स व्हिच वी गोना डिस्कस ऑन द न्यूज़पेपर। एंड शुरू करते हैं विदाउट एनी फर्दर अडू। लेट्स डू द न्यूज़पेपर फॉर द डे। एक बार चार्ट देख लेते हैं फिर जल्दी से स्टार्ट करते हैं। आयुष सिंह सर, आप बहुत हैंडसम लगते हो। अरे क्या बात है, थैंक यू सो मच। आप लोग मुझे इतना मक्खन लगाते हो, मेरा जो है, क्या बोलूं मैं, इतनी तारीफ मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड करती होती मेरी, तो अभी तक हमारा रिलेशनशिप बहुत अच्छा चल रहा होता। बट वो करती ही नहीं थी मेरी तारीफ, मैं ही उसकी तारीफ करता रहता था। एनीवे, दीज आर जस्ट जोक्स। वो भी बहुत तारीफ करती थी क्योंकि हैंडसम तो मैं हूँ। जीके फ्रॉम विच मंथ? जीके हम करंट अफेयर से स्टार्ट करेंगे। बैकलॉग का भी कुछ सोचता हूँ, बैकलॉग का कुछ कर पाऊंगा आपके तो करूंगा, बट अभी तो करंट अफेयर्स करेंगे हम लोग जीके में। ठीक है, वी आर सो एक्साइटेड, आई डोंट नो व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन। अच्छी बात है, एक्साइटमेंट बना रहना चाहिए। ओके, इज कार्बन मनी सेम एज कार्बन क्रेडिट्स? इन अ वे यस अविराज, सिंबॉलिक तरीके से बोला गया कार्बन मनी को। कार्बन मनी कोई अलग कंसेप्ट नहीं है, कार्बन क्रेडिट्स वाला ही कंसेप्ट है। सो यस, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, it is regarding carbon credit. Sir, in a way, can we say that we are trying to make the Indian rupee supreme? That is one part of it. Indian rupee को strong करना is one part of it. उसके अलावा भी जो है we are trying to form an alliance with the other BRICS countries. So कुछ ट्रेड हो सकता है चाइना के साथ, ट्रेड हम रूपी वर्सेस येन में करें, एंड रशिया के साथ रूबल एंड रुपीज में करें। सो बेसिकली मूविंग अवे फ्रॉम द डॉलर। रूपी उसमें ऑटोमेटिकली स्ट्रेंथन हो जाएगा एज अ बाय प्रोडक्ट ऑफ इट, बट यस, दैट इज वन पार्ट ऑफ इट। ठीक है, Kashvi is here. Okay, Riva is here saying hi from Kashvi's phone. अरे क्या बात है, साथ में बैठे हो आप लोग। So good to have your comment after so long. कहाँ हो आजकल, व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन? मिली सिंह सर, ये लोग अमेजिंग, आपका फोटो लगा रखा है हॉल में, क्या बात है, बहुत बढ़िया, शाबाश। Ryan is saying, sir, explain in English. Well, you first need to spell explain correctly. If you want me to talk in English, I can very well talk in English. I don't mind talking in English. I don't mind teaching in English. It's just that Hindi plus English gives me a better satisfaction. But I don't mind. Okay, we'll do the rest of the class in English if that is what you want. I can do that. I can very well do that. All right, let's move to our newspaper. Let's start discussing our newspaper. Let me share the newspaper with you all very quickly. I was gonna say fatafat, but then I said very quickly. Almost slipped into Hindi. All right, this is the newspaper, 13th of August. Today is Thursday. Okay, we zoomed it a little bit extra. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's good. 31 member parliamentary panel to review the FCRA bill. The FCRA bill, which we all know, is the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. This is regarding the foreign funding which NGOs and educational institutions, minority institutions, the trust receive from foreign agencies, from foreign individuals, from foreign companies. And there has been a lot of backlash, there has been a lot of opposition regarding this particular bill, especially from minority organizations, minority institutions, and more specifically, the Christian organizations. Riva is sending me a WhatsApp text. Riva, I'll respond to you after the class. We'll discuss the small talk after the class. Okay, cool. What was I saying? I lost my chain of thought. Where were we? Where were we? Where were we? What were we talking of? Yeah, the first article, the FCRA bill. So yeah, as discussed, the FCRA bill is regarding the fundings and the regulations regarding it. The government was planning to bring an amendment where they had a very broad autonomy. They had a very vague sense of controlling these foreign fundings. And if institution were to lose its license, unfortunately, then the government would take away all their assets, their properties, their cash, everything. So they would kind of usurp everything if you lose your license. Now, the after the backlash, after the opposition resisted it very strongly, the government has moved to a back foot and they have said that, okay, we'll send it to a joint parliamentary committee to examine this in even more detail and discuss it with the other stakeholders. Now, what is this joint parliamentary committee? This is essentially a committee made up of member of parliaments, MPs from both the houses, Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. And the job, it's simply to study the bill in detail, hear the different views and perspectives, and recommend the changes before the parliament considers it to move it further. And in this case, this JPC, the Joint Parliamentary Committee, will have 31 members. 21 would be from Lok Sabha, 10 would be from Rajya Sabha, and our Speaker from the Lok Sabha, Mr. Om Birla, will nominate the Lok Sabha members, while Rajya Sabha's chairman, also our Vice President, Mr. CP Radhakrishnan, will nominate the Rajya Sabha members. And these guys would be submitting their report on the last day of the first week of the Parliament's winter session. Did you get it? On the last day of the first week of the Parliament's winter session in 2026, which is quite far away as of now. Now, we have already discussed this bill, so I don't want to spend more time discussing the bill. You can research about it on your own. Maybe I'll discuss it in detail when I take this up as a topic in the current affairs series. But for now, that is the latest update. Okay, what's chat saying? Let me check the chat. Kashvi saying, me and Riva are sitting together. We are both into SLS Pune. Oh, that's awesome. Girl gang in SLS Pune representing the Hindu analysis. Awesome. I hope you guys are having a fun time. Good evening, Padmaja. Millie saying, आज फिर कितने चली है मोरनी बढ़ के. Wow. Protest held in Mizoram against FCRA. Yes. People have, sirs, what are these privileges that people can voice call you anytime? Those privileges get unlocked once you get selected in your respective colleges. So you guys would get those privileges once you secure your selection in whichever college you secure. Okay, that's why. That's why they have that privilege. Peaceful protest की जरूरत नहीं है मित्रों. I'll happily share my number with you once you share the खुशखबरी of your college. Yes, Pratyush, you can have my digits. Get selected into a good college. I'll gladly have a chat with you. Okay, cool, awesome. Let's move forward. Ready for discussion on protest, says our Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. He has been dodging the parliament for quite a while now, but now that barely a couple of days are left in the monsoon session, he's saying that, okay, we'll discuss everything you want to discuss from 3 p.m. to 3 p.m. from today till tomorrow. That is what he has said. All right. Retail inflation hits 19-month high of 4.45% in July. Although not that important for us, inflation essentially in Hindi, what we call it as mehengai, and it is measured by an index called the Consumer Price Index (CPI) in short, and it tracks how much the prices of goods and services bought by the households, bought by people like you and me, are changing. And the main reason for this inflation is the higher food and fuel cost. Fuel cost, we all know, it's increasing because of the West Asian crisis, and this inflation in food and beverages has increased. With respect to the last year, prices of onion, garlic, etc. have increased sharply. Ginger prices are increasing. Potatoes and tomatoes, although became cheaper, so they were in deflation, which means their prices were lower compared with the same period last year. That's the opposite of inflation. That's deflation. And speculations by economists say that food inflation could rise even further because of the monsoon. Although rainfall has substantially improved last month, but excessive rainfall is also damaging to the crops. Therefore, the price might be pushed a little bit higher because the supply is going to get hampered, and therefore you'd see more inflation. As a result, restaurants and hotels would become more expensive. They have become expensive in the past few months, but it's likely that trend is gonna continue. Transport inflation has also increased. Healthcare inflation, basically every kind of inflation has increased. All right. Regarding CPI, I think I told you already that we have changed the base year of CPI to 2024 recently, which essentially means the reference point for calculating the changes of the price is now 2024. So we'll compare the data to 2024. That is what base year means. Fair? Let's move forward. Let's move forward. What is chat saying? एक बार chat देख लेते हैं जल्दी से. Sir पीयूष को digits दो अपने. He is going to New Zealand for college. Okay. All the best पीयूष. पीयूष saying अब मैं सर से आईफोन नहीं ले पाऊंगा. कोई बात नहीं. I think you're getting a better deal. If I were in your place, I would choose New Zealand over iPhone any day. Digits also means fingers. Cannibalism is illegal. Well, I don't think you guys wanna do that to me. That would be your loss. My passage reading and finding the answer from it in English is not good. So what should I do to improve? And Archana is asking. Firstly, there are multiple aspects to it. Secondly, I need to know more. What exactly do you struggle with? Is it understanding the phrases? Is it the speed with which you read things? Is it processing all that information together? Is it finding the answer? Finding the answer you already mentioned. But yeah, all of these things depend on the first three things. So first of all, the first step would be to check your reading speed. Ideally, we'll want a reading speed which is more than 300 words, excuse me, more than 300 words per minute. If it is below that, it means you need to work on the reading speed. There are 10 hundreds of techniques on how you can increase your reading speed. You can check that up online. I don't need to lay that out for you. Apart from that, it's honestly mostly practice. The more you get accustomed to the passages, the more you get accustomed to reading long pieces of text, the more you get accustomed to eclectic writing, eclectic reading rather. Eclectic, say, I mean diverse resources. Some passages of economics, some passages of science, some from literature, some from politics, some from sports. So that is what I mean by eclectic set of reading. That really helps. Newspaper really helps in that, and it's an ongoing process. To be very honest, Archana, it is not something where I can give you a hack or a magic wand where you can, do jadoo mantar and from the next day you are Shashi Tharoor. I wish I could do that for you, but it's something which takes months, if not years. So the only thing which you can do right now is practice a hell lot of sectional tests in the subject and read as many diverse number of articles as you can. That is the only thing which would help. Okay. Sir, would CLAT choose BAFTA awards over Nobel Prizes? No one can say, to be very honest. They are pretty unpredictable that way. I would suggest that you cover both of them. Bye bye, Arya. 8:30 हो भी गया, ओ माय गॉड, कुछ भी नहीं किया अभी तक डिस्कस। थोड़ा स्पीड से चलते हैं दोस्तों, बहुत ज़्यादा बातें कर ली हैं हमने। 8:30 ऑलरेडी हो गया है, हमारे मित्रों को जाना पड़ेगा दूसरी क्लास के लिए। एन चंद्रशेखर टू स्टेप डाउन एज टाटा सन्स चेयरपर्सन इन 2027। तो ये चेयरमैन थे टाटा सन्स के। ही हैज announced that he does not seek another term when his current term ends in February 2027। एंड टाटा सन्स एक तरीके से आप कह सकते हो प्रमोटर कंपनी है, होल्डिंग कंपनी है टाटा ग्रुप की, जिनके पास एक मेजर ओनरशिप स्टेक है इन सेवरल टाटा कंपनीज। एंड चंद्रशेखर हैज आस्क्ड द बोर्ड टू फाइंड हिज सक्सेसर अर्ली, ताकि इजीली ट्रांजिशन हो पाए। इतना ही इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे लिए काफी है। ये जो टाटा ट्रस्ट है, ये 66% ऑफ टाटा सन्स को ओन करते हैं। देयर आर टू मेजर ट्रस्ट, वन इज द सर दोराबजी टाटा ट्रस्ट एंड द सेकंड वन इज द सर रतन टाटा ट्रस्ट। टुगेदर दे होल्ड अराउंड 51.4% ऑफ द एंटायर कंपनी। अब ऑब्वियसली जब इस टाइप की कोई न्यूज आती है तो देयर इज अ डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड इन द मार्केट, देयर इज अ नेगेटिव रिएक्शन टू इट। इन्वेस्टर्स गेट नर्वस, दे पैनिक, एंड टाटा के स्टॉक्स एज अ रिजल्ट थोड़े से नेगेटिवली इम्पैक्ट हुए हैं। टीसीएस का स्टॉक, टाटा स्टील का स्टॉक, टाटा मोटर्स का स्टॉक, टाटा एलेक्सी का स्टॉक, ये सारे स्टॉक्स ने थोड़ा सा डिप एक्सपीरियंस किया है। चंद्रशेखरन की बात करें तो ही हैज स्पेंट ऑलमोस्ट 40 years of his life with the Tata Group, and he has been chairman for the last 9, and he's also the first non-Parsi person to become the chairman of the Tata Group, so that is quite significant। अब जो बोर्ड मेंबर्स हैं वो इनका सक्सेसर ढूंढेंगे, एंड देन we'll have a new person who would lead the Tata Group from March 2027। Okay, let's move forward. So the real 6'7" nonchalant but baddie. Okay, fair enough. I would take that compliment. Let's move forward. Charges against Justice Verma have been proved, says the panel. Will discuss this on the PPT. Economic blockade in Assam hits life along border with Arunachal. Let's move forward. City-based news, which is not important for us. So we'll skip it to state-based news. Here it's mostly politics. We can skip this, skip this, skip this. Tata Nexa at 9.67 lakh. Okay, यहाँ भी 6.7. I'm wondering if this was deliberate or unintentional coincidence. But okay, states news. We'll have to see if there was a split in Shiv Sena, says the Supreme Court. Divisions may originate in legislature party, and the fissure, fissure means separation, can percolate, percolate means enter into organization. Primary membership, says court, split can never arise merely from division in the party, says Sena UPT. Okay, cool. Not important. Supreme Court may refer question of lead case in Krishna Janmabhoomi Row to Row means the controversy to Allahabad High Court. Now, Supreme Court is considering whether they should send this procedural issue back to the Allahabad High Court. The issue is that which petition, which Hindu petition, should be treated as a lead case and heard first in the Krishna Janmabhoomi slash Shahi Eidgah dispute. And the Supreme Court has adjourned this matter till September. This dispute is regarding the Krishna Janmabhoomi site and the Shahi Eidgah Mosque in Mathura. And a lot of Hindu factions have filed separate lawsuits relating to the disputed site, and the mosque committees and the Hindu parties have challenged these in the Allahabad High Court, and now they have reached the Supreme Court. Now, what does this lead case scenario means? That means that there are multiple lawsuits dealing with the same broader dispute. So instead of hearing every case independently and simultaneously, the court can designate one as the leading case or the representative case. So many cases, they choose one case, hear it first, and the other cases can follow its outcome slash proceedings. So now they're deciding that which case is going to be the lead case. Cool. That's the update which we have as of now. Moving forward. What is chat saying? दिव्य दृष्टि को इंग्लिश में क्या बोलते हैं? क्लैरवॉयंस. ओके. Avraj is saying I'm King Charles III. Fair. Rama is saying, sir, you are 6'7" and have the wisdom of a 67-year-old. I don't think that's a compliment. 67-year-olds usually, I don't really enjoy the company of a 67-year-old. At least my personal experience has not been fantastic. But I get the sentiment. Also, I wish I was 6'7", but I'm not. I'm barely 5'11", but I'm satisfied with my height. 5'11" is fine in India. I'm taller than most people. Okay, moving forward. Maharashtra makes Marathi proficiency mandatory for app-based cab drivers too. So people who are driving Ubers and Olas and Rapidos and the likes, they should also mandatorily know and speak Marathi. Okay. What do you guys think about this? Is this a good initiative or not a good initiative? मराठी में मुझे सिर्फ माला जाऊदे साहिब बोलना आता है. आई थिंक दैट लाइन सफाइसेस टू एस्केप आउट ऑफ ट्रबल. उससे ज़्यादा मराठी मुझे नहीं आती है. और एक वो लाइन आती है मुझे, मुलगी शिगली. वो भी भूल गया. बताओ पूरी लाइन. माई मराठी इज बैड. नीड टू ब्रश इट अप. Okay, moving forward. Kerala High Court sets aside center's order refusing FCR renewal for 2 engines not important. Faith Healing poses challenge to authorities as diseases kill 7 tribal children in MP. Okay, that's unfortunate. Rest in peace. Kerala stalling. Stalling means, causing a hurdle in strengthening works at the Mulla Periyar. Mulla Periyar is a dam. It's also a river and also a dam. And Tamil Nadu is accusing Kerala of not letting them strengthen the Mulla Periyar reservoir. Okay. Political row erupts over purification after Kharge is really not important for us. Let's move forward. Okay, इतना आगे नहीं जाना था, थोड़ा सा पीछे आ जाते हैं. This is the editorial section. Am I saying I speak Marathi so I can become a cab driver? Yeah, absolutely. Millie saying मुझे मराठी गाने आते हैं. Chat will get slimed. Okay, so you should say Chaila. What does that mean? What's the meaning of Chaila? I hope you're not messing with me and asking me to say something which is explicit. Kamavar Zaila Ushir Zaila Baktoy Rakshawala Re Wat Maji Baktoy Rikshawala. Okay. What does that mean? Please translate. Sounds interesting, but please translate. North Indians trying to speak Mulla Periyar with a straight face. I can relate because it happened to my class. What's wrong with Mulla Periyar, buddy? I don't get the reference. Oh, okay. Now I get the reference. Fair. Timely reset for the Food Security Act. Let's talk about this. Now, timely reset means that there need to be a lot of changes and amendments which need to be made to this Food Security Act. The context is that India has although made significant progress in making food more affordable, all thanks to Mr. Swaminathan and the Green Revolution, but a large number of Indian households still cannot afford a healthy, nutritious diet. According to estimates based on the recent survey which they have quoted, 52% of households could not afford the diet which is recommended by ICMR. And by 2023, this number has fallen to almost about 25%. So that means we have made progress. But the problem is that it still affects 1/4 of rural and 21%, almost 1/5 of urban population. So the challenge has now shifted from do people have enough food to also asking can people afford a healthy and balanced diet? And that is where there are proposals to make changes to the schemes, to the Act, to the Food Security Act, as well as the primary scheme which we have under the National Food Security Act. Schemes like AAY, which is Antyodaya Anna Yojana, where most vulnerable households get 35 kg per household per month ration. And as per the Priority Households Initiative, they also get 5 kg of food grains per person per month. But the problem with this system is that if there's a 4-member family, 35 kg gets distributed in 4 people. So it's around मैथ्स करो। 35/4 कितना होता है? ऐसे करते हैं, अबैकस से करते हैं ऐसे। 8.75 होता है, 8.75 kg per person. So it's a 7-member family, 35/7 that is easy, 5 kg per person. If it's an 8-member family, then that is 35/8. 4 the point 4 the 4.4 kg per person. So as the family gets bigger, the amount available per person keeps dropping. तो अब ये बिल चाहता है, दिस बिल इज प्रपोजिंग, दिस अमेंडमेंट इज प्रपोजिंग that there should be 7 kg per person with a maximum limit of 35 kg per household, which sounds more generous for larger families, but there's an important catch. One member household would get 7 kg, two members would get 14, and so on. Therefore, smaller families could actually lose food grains. पहले one member family also got 35 kg, now they would get only 7 kg. Two members would get 14 kg, earlier they could get 35 kg. So smaller families would be hurt. That is the assumption here. And the smaller household might also consist of the elderly person living alone, a widow living alone, or a widower, a person with disability, or anyone who's from a vulnerable background. The household size, the point is, does not necessarily indicate the level of need. And यहाँ पे examples दिए हुए उस चीज के, तमिलनाडु के examples. So the solution which they have suggested is a no loss guarantee, that every household should continue receiving at least 35 kg per month, and the formula can be changed, so that no one is at a disadvantage. Another thing which they talk about here is the coverage of the National Food Security Act. It currently covers up to 75% of rural population and 50% of urban population, but the actual beneficiary ceiling, which is almost 80 crore people based on the 2011 census, is not accurate. Ab India ki population is close to 146 crores. That means that the current ceiling covers only 55% of India's population, which means a lot of people are being deprived of this initiative. And जब हमारे पास census 2027 का data आएगा, the government should recalculate the number of people who are eligible for these food security benefits. And until then, the updated population estimates and the transparent, criteria regarding poverty or deprivation could be used to review this particular coverage. Another important argument which the article makes is that food security does not necessarily translate to nutrition security. So that is the double burden which we have. A part of the population is undernutrition, which means children are not getting enough nutritious food. Children are underweight. Children are wasted in the sense that stunted in growth. And on the other hand, there are lifestyle diseases where children are overweight, mote bacche, as I call it, and extremely high levels of diabetes and pre-diabetes. That is also increasing. Heart attacks are increasing. High blood pressure is increasing. So we need to fight hunger and malnutrition on one side and diet-related issues on the other side. And that is where a bigger challenge lies. So yeah, the author suggests that we should move towards diet diversification. Alongside just giving wheat or rice, we should also give pulses, eggs, milk, nuts, vegetables, fruits, healthy oils, and other millets, so that the entire healthy plate, kind of gets completed. We should provide affordable, nutritious, and shelf-stable foods to fill this gap. That's what the article says. Cool. चैट देख लेते हैं हम. Shivansh is saying, sir, do you speak Punjabi as well? Yes, sir, I do speak Punjabi. ਆਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ. ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ, ਦੱਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ. ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਜੱਟ ਨੂੰ. चैट पढ़ लेते हैं हम एक बार. Chaila means arey yaar. Okay. It's a very Marathi thing to say, Chaila. Okay. Interesting slang. Piyush is saying, मम्मी मेरे से बात नहीं कर रही, feeling sad. मम्मी को मना लो. मम्मी के लिए कुछ अच्छा सा स्पेशल सा मंगा लो. मम्मी को खुश कर दो. मम्मी के लिए कोई गिफ्ट ले आओ. Do some effort. If you want to convince someone you're Marathi, just say Chaila kharch ka. Okay. Tell me I don't want to feel left out, so sad. Sorry बोल दो, थोड़ा कम कर दो, बात ही नहीं कर रही है, मनाओ कैसे. बोला ना, गिफ्ट लेके आओ कुछ बढ़िया सा, या कुछ बढ़िया सा खाने को लेके आओ. Roma is saying, ओए पंजाबी चलाओ चलाओ. Okay, ठीक है. Devika is saying, Jat don't care, Bipa Jat don't care. Yes. Avraj is saying, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਚ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ? ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਮੈਂ, ਮੇਰੇ ਐਂਸੈਸਟਰ ਸੀਗੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਚੋਂ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲਹਿੰਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਹੈ ਹੁਣੇ. For people who don't know Punjabi, that's the Punjab which is in Pakistan right now. So my ancestors traveled to this part of the country and settled in Uttar Pradesh, not in Punjab. I don't know why. I don't know the reason. I have not asked them. But yes, पंजाब च रूट्स ने मेरे पंजाबी बोल लेंदा मैं थोड़ी बहुती माड़ी मोटी पंजाबी पढ़ लेंदा मैं पंजाबी लिख भी लेंदा मैं बट पंजाब च नहीं आना unfortunately. Yeah, sad. It's a little sad. I'm close to the culture, but not from Punjab. Shivansh is saying all I know for Punjabi is Karan Aujla. चुन्नी मेरी रंग दे लारिया मेरे यार दी गड्डी दे नाल दी. Yeah, Karan Aujla is nice. What am I saying? That's cool. Niche. Okay. Ashikeet is saying, sir, can you tell us about the bill which was passed in Tamil Nadu? Which bill? And what is passed in Tamil Nadu? No bill is passed. It's only passed. Unless you want to say possessed. I don't think the bill is possessed. Sir, mock में score stuck हो गए हैं. Stuck हो गए हैं score. Stuck कैसे हो सकते हैं score? या तो dip हो गए होंगे या increase हो गए होंगे. Stuck हो गए हैं. मतलब हर मॉक में आपके सेम मार्क्स आ रहे हैं 70 70 70 70 70. वर्षिका जी कैसे हो गए हैं मॉक में स्कोर स्टक? कौन से सब्जेक्ट में आप मार्क्स लूज कर रहे हो? किस टॉपिक में मार्क्स लूज कर रहे हो? टाइम की इशू है, टाइम मैनेजमेंट की इशू है, स्ट्रैटेजी की इशू है, कॉम्प्रिहेंशन की इशू है, जीके की कवरेज की इशू है, क्या इशू है? ऐसे तो नहीं बता पाऊंगा मैं. अगर आपका स्कोर स्टक हो गया है तो धक्का लगाओ उसको, जोर से धक्का लगाओ ताकि वो निकल जाए गड्ढे में से. ओके ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं हम लोग. लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड. एफसीआरए वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. रोज रोज एफसीआरए पे आर्टिकल आ रहा है. द हिंदू वाले एक टॉपिक पकड़ते हैं एंड देन दे जस्ट गेट स्टक ऑन इट लाइक वर्षिका स्कोर्स. नो ऑफेंस वर्षिका. Military transformation, intellectual leadership. Retired Air Vice Marshal अर्जुन सुब्रमण्यम जी क्या कह रहे हैं? चलो देखते हैं. अर्जुन जी कह रहे हैं कि इंडिया के आर्म फोर्सेस ने कुछ रिफॉर्म्स किए इन सिंस 2014, but true military transformation has been quite sluggish, quite slow. He says that India needs to rethink our military leaders and they need to debate and propose new ideas more boldly and not just execute existing policies. He talks about how in 2014, when Modi ji attended his first combined commanders conference, he was disappointed with the vision presented by the military leadership. He asked the armed forces to speed up the reforms, particularly by improving operational effectiveness, creating better coordination, synergy between the three services, reducing bureaucratic layers and duplication. And the broader goal was to make one integrated military system rather than three separate organizations. Now, this transformation hasn't really happened fast enough. And the author identifies a few obstacles here. The first obstacle is that reforms have focused a little too much on the military itself. What that means is that they have placed the responsibility entirely on the armed forces. But national security is much more than the military. It also involves the Ministry of Defense. It also involves political leadership, involves intelligence organizations like RAW, IB, etc. It also involves international diplomacy, technology, economic policy, other parts of government. So it's a whole of government approach rather than just the military organization operating in a silo. And he gives an example of that on how, Army plus Navy plus Air Force need to reform themselves. And the approach should be through political leadership, defense ministry, military, intelligence, diplomacy, all of the likes. And the second problem which he identifies is that the three services haven't fully agreed on integration. They have different roles, different cultures, different priorities, different requirements, even different salutes. But the point is that integration has moved quite slowly. The third thing which he highlights is that senior military leadership has not contributed enough intellectually. That's his central criticism across the article. He says that the senior officers need to do more than just manage operations. They need to read extensively, write, research, debate, challenge the conventional thinking, bring out of the box ideas, develop new strategic ideas, and explain these military requirements to the political leaders. And that is what is required from the top leadership. And he asks a lot of questions. What will the future look like? How will drones and AI change the warfare? How should India respond to the China's military rise? How should they, Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force operate together? What should our nuclear strategy look like? What should our technological changes across the military structure look like? What should strategy with respect to diplomacy and economics look like? ये सारे questions पे debate होनी चाहिए. And the author says that we need to look at history. We need to look at the leaders who were visionaries in terms of their intellect. He highlights a few names: General K. Sundarji, who pushed intellectual thinking in the Indian Army, then Air Commodore Jasjit Singh, who became an important voice on nuclear strategy, then Rear Admiral Raja Menon, who was someone with great intellect regarding India's maritime power, then Mr. K. Subramaniam, who was also a strategic thinker. So these were the intellectual flag bearers who helped the military think beyond broader strategic establishments. And that is what he believes should be the demand of the day. And the government also should take up responsibility for that. And the forces should also take up responsibility of that. That is his whole argument. Okay. What is chat saying? पर chat देख लेता हूँ जल्दी से. सर मैं क्या ऑर्डर करूँ? शी इज फीलिंग लोड्स ऑफ इमोशंस, शी इज बर्स्ट आउट, दैट्स द रीजन. क्या ऑर्डर करूँ? जो भी उनका फेवरेट फूड है यार, जो भी वट एवर शी लाइक्स. You don't need to order anything. Just go up to her and say, I don't understand why you're angry, but I want to make you feel better. Please tell me what can I. Oh, that's very sweet. That, see, this is where women and ladies are better than men at understanding emotions, at consoling people. We men as a gender really are really bad at it. I accept that. I understand that. But we try. We try our best. We learn slowly, slowly, gradually, gradually. ओके. ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. चल या. Tell her कि this opportunity will help me become a better version of myself, a better version for you. I really don't think really that would help. Okay. Anyway, moving forward. Promise of gender equality must be upheld. तो प्रियांजलि जी जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात कर रही हैं. क्या बात कर रही है जेंडर इक्वालिटी की? वो कह रही हैं कि हमारी जो इंडिपेंडेंस स्ट्रगल है, दैट वाज बिल्ट ऑन अ पावरफुल प्रॉमिस व्हिच इज इक्वालिटी फॉर ऑल सिटीजंस. But she says that this promise is not really being fulfilled, particularly because women who participated in the protest are being treated differently from men. We recently saw that 15-year-old girl who had to apologize for whatever she said about our prime minister. So she gives you multiple examples. She takes it back to the partition days, and when India became independent, we had enormous problems: partition, violence, refugees, poverty, education, etc. But we still chose to build a democracy based on the fact that every citizen should be equal in the eyes of law. And this has applied regardless of gender, caste, religion, wealth, political beliefs, gender. Gender तो बोला ही मैंने. So the author is saying that this is a very audacious bet on hope, because we were expecting a democracy and political equality, but we were starting with very difficult circumstances. We gave women voting rights very early compared to other countries in the world. Our constitution established universal adult franchise, which means everyone above the age of 18 could vote. But registering women were difficult back then. Even though the officials wanted them to be on the electoral rolls, they discovered that many women still identified themselves through men, that is, wife of so and so, daughter of so and so, rather than by their own names. And that was more paperwork, that was more trouble, because a woman was legally recognized as an individual political citizen, not merely as someone's wife or daughter. And historically, this has been quite significant. इसके बाद से women have participated a lot in the election process. Over time, things have changed dramatically. Women's participation has increased dramatically. And India has moved from the issue that women need to be registered as individuals to women participate in elections at roughly the same level as men. And the author calls it real progress in gender equality. But what is going wrong today is the doxing, which happened. which we saw through the protest, that doxing is essentially revealing someone's identity, someone's personal information online. Could be phone number, could be personal details, could be address, etc. And women reportedly faced a lot of online harassment, abuse, threats, and in some cases even threats of killing them. So that is where we are going wrong. Women were treated differently from men, even though all of them were there at the protest. The prime minister referred to women protesters as misguided daughters and criticized the abusive language, which chalo theek hai. That's a different discussion. But the author's criticism is that men and women participated in the same protest. Men also used abusive languages, but the prime minister specifically highlighted the behavior of women and described that as a parent-child slash fatherly framework. तो यही कह रही हैं कि भाई दिस इज जेंडर्ड एक्सपेक्टेशंस कि women are expected to be more modest, more restrained, and more cultured as compared to men. And if they don't comply, then doxing, threats, all of these things happen, which is not cool. And I agree with her, not cool at all. There should be equality in every sense. ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं हम लोग. क्या हो गया भाई चैट बॉक्स में? Anirudh, I'll start from the current dates GK. I won't start with a particular month. I would start with, so we are starting in August, so I'll start with August only. ठीक है. Let's just quickly wrap this up. काफ़ी लंबा सेशन हो गया आज, बट ठीक है, काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें बतानी भी थी आप लोगों को. E20 वाला चीज़ हम स्किप कर सकते हैं फॉर नाउ. Center floats a tender for 1 lakh crore for 60 planes. Border with India generally stable at the moment, says China. Amid tussle, the panel to probe centers de-reservation, not important. Justice Verma's withdrawal from probe cannot end the statutory inquiry. Statutory मतलब as per law जो inquiry होगी वो चलेगी, even though he has resigned. BJP leader slams visit to by police officers to Jharkhand protest site. Center softens stance on FCRA. लोकसभा क्लियर्स माइंस एंड मिनरल्स अमेंडमेंट बिल. थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में बता देता हूँ आपको. दिस बिल वाज पास्ड विदाउट अ डिबेट बिकॉज ऑपोजिशन एमपीज वर प्रोटेस्टिंग and the house was already adjourned twice earlier in the day. When this bill came up, opposition MPs entered the well of the house, which means the area in front of the speaker's chair, usko well of the house कहते हैं, and they did their sloganeering and all of that stuff. अब ये बिल किस बारे में है? The most important provisions are, the first one is the states cannot impose additional mineral fees or taxes or levies, which means the bill prevents state governments from imposing additional taxes on mineral rights. The government's argument is that different taxes imposed by different states would create uncertainty for mining companies. The second thing which the bill proposes is that the center gets greater regulatory control over the mineral rich land. So that is where the states are also not happy with this. The opposition is objecting that this violates our federalism wala principle, where the powers are divided between the center and the state. So the center is kind of usurping the powers of the state. The government wants this change because, as per them, different states working their different taxes creates uncertainty for businesses. It increases the cost of minerals. It encourages imports rather than exports, and it disrupts the domestic supply chain as well. So they want to streamline and bring uniformity to the taxes. That's pretty much all we need to know about this thing as of now. Let's move forward. In era of reels, avoid shortcuts, read autobiographies. Modi ji tells youth. All right. खुद रील बना के मोदी जी कह रहे हैं रील मत देखो. ये कैसी सी बात हुई? पहले तो मोदी जी कह रहे थे कि मेरी रील को देखो, इतने सारे व्यूज मिल गए, बेस्ट रील बन गई, मतलब मोस्ट लाइक मोस्ट व्यूड, ऐसा कुछ तो था. अब मोदी जी कह रहे हैं कि ऑटोबायोग्राफी पढ़ो. ये क्या बात है मोदी जी? बट चलो ठीक है, मोदी जी कह रहे हैं तो कुछ सोच समझ के कह रहे होंगे. आप सब लोग मोदी जी की बात मान लीजिए, because you don't really have a choice. Okay, 7 dead, several injured in landslip after heavy rain lashed Mumbai. Okay. Nicobar project, tribal council says its concerns are being overlooked. De-dollarization वाला article left hand side पे जो हम PPT पे करेंगे. On the right hand side, India's first branded train set to run as Sprite Tejas Express. I don't know. That name does not really sound very appealing to me. Sprite Tejas Express. तो लखनऊ से दिल्ली तक जो तेजस एक्सप्रेस चलती है, which is operated by IRCTC, उसको जो है स्पॉन्सर एक तरीके से ब्रांडिंग देगी, स्प्राइट, स्प्राइट द कोल्ड ड्रिंक ब्रांड, for 6 months. This is a commercial sponsorship arrangement, just like how sports stadiums are sponsored or named after a brand. And यहाँ पे, although the Tejas Express is operated by IRCTC, rather than being a conventional railways operated passenger service, this branded thing would just be advertising rights. So railway ka infrastructure would remain railway ka infrastructure. IRCTC would still pay Indian Railways for hauling charges and everything, railway tracks के charges, stations के charges. So it's not a completely privately owned railway. ऐसा नहीं कि Sprite ने train खरीद ली है. It's just sponsoring the advertising on it. ठीक है, ये 6 महीने का अरेंजमेंट है। तो इंडिया की पहली जो है, आप कह सकते हो, प्राइवेटली एडवर्टाइज ट्रेन है, लखनऊ से दिल्ली चलने वाली तेजस एक्सप्रेस, ट्रेन नंबर 82501, गाड़ी नंबर 82501, प्लेटफॉर्म नंबर 1 जो आती है। अब वो स्प्राइट पीते पीते आएगी। मैं चार्जर लगा लेता हूँ इससे पहले कि लैपटॉप बंद हो जाए कल की तरह। 5 सेकंड लेट हो गया मित्रों, में बस 5 सेकंड लेट हो गया चार्जर लगाने से और लैपटॉप बंद हो गया। बट आई होप आई एम बैक। आई थिंक आई एम बैक। एम आई बैक? प्लीज गिव मी अ यस इफ आई एम बैक। अरे यार, हो जाता है कभी कभी ऐसा। Sir, you have to agree for sure that the only weakness of India is that we lack the thought and concept of India first. I agree. There's nothing to disagree to that. जिसको गाली देना है मुझे मत दो। Okay. Honestly, it felt as if that I felt in Delhi. Okay. Yeah, laptop बंद हो गया था. Sorry. Visible, audible, back. चलो ठीक है। न्यूज़पेपर पे कुछ बचा है क्या? Let me just quickly check. ठीक है, ये कर लिया हमने डिस्कस। बिजनेस न्यूज़ में यूपीआई को गवर्नमेंट प्लान कर रही है एमडीआर चार्जेस, मर्चेंट डिस्काउंट चार्जेस, यानी कि मर्चेंट्स को पे करना पड़ेगा ट्रांजैक्शंस के लिए। जर्मनी इज इंटरेस्टेड इन बाइंग ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन फ्रॉम इंडिया, सेज चार्ज डी अफेयर्स। ओके, ठीक है। Nighttime blitz damaged Russia's Black Sea naval base, says Zelensky. Trump says Secret Service warned him of the aircraft. Former Chinese Premier Zhu Rongji dies at 97. Okay. स्पोर्ट्स में आज कुछ सिग्निफिकेंट नहीं है। प्रग हैज वन हिज मैच अगेंस्ट सिंदरोव, आई बिलीव। कहाँ गए प्रग भाई साहब? हाँ, ये रहे प्रग, आउटविट्स सिंदरोव। ओके, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है। Okay, we're done with the newspaper. Let's come back to our PPT. जल्दी से खत्म करते हैं. भूख लग गई है. डिनर का टाइम हो गया है दोस्तों. बाय बाय रमा जी. बस हम भी बाय बाय कर ही रहे. जस्टिस वर्मा की बात कर लेते हैं. 3 member इंक्वायरी कमेटी मेड बाय लोकसभा स्पीकर ओम बिरला has found the charges proved against former Delhi High Court Judge Justice Yashwant Verma over the discovery of burnt currency at his residence, holding that his explanations were evasive and unsatisfactory. Committee की report table हुई in both houses of parliament, and they said that judge has failed to provide a satisfactory explanation regarding the present source or ownership of the cash. The panel also found that material evidence at the site had not been properly secured or preserved, and that evidentiary condition of the storeroom had been disturbed before it was lawfully sealed and inspected. The committee constituted to investigate the discovery of burned currency notes at the official residence of the judge withdrew from the panel's proceedings too late. And the panel's report responds to the question in the public domain that why it chose to continue its work and submit the report to Parliament even when Justice Verma ceased to be a judge with his resignation. The report in the Parliament found the charges against him proved, holding that his explanations were evasive and unsatisfactory, and the discovery of currency notes occurred in the capital when he was a Delhi High Court judge. In a communication sent to the committee on 9th April, the former judge had informed it of its decision to withdraw from the proceedings. Parallel communications were sent to the president and CGI on the same day. The committee report said Justice Verma, in April 9th communication, had further found fault with the inquiry on several counts, including procedural unfairness, reversal of burden, non-availability of CCTV. The report chose to rebut him, saying silence may permit a partial account to assess the character of the whole. For one, the committee said that rather than making allegations, the judge ought to have entered the witness box. It said he withdrew from the inquiry proceedings at the crucial point when he had to produce evidence for his defense. It said articles of charges against the judge had already been framed, defense statement had been received, material to be relied had been supplied, inspection had been done, applications had been heard, decided, witnesses were examined, documents were marked, even witnesses had been cross-examined on behalf of the judge himself. But still, he withdrew from the proceeding. थोड़ा सा स्टैटिक जीके से रिलेटेड आर्टिकल 124 clause 4 along with the Judges Inquiry Act provides the framework for removing judges of the Supreme Court. 218 extends these provisions to the High Court judges. They can only be removed for proved misbehavior or incapacity. And इसके लिए you need a motion to be initiated either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha में 100 MPs का approval चाहिए and Rajya Sabha में 50. And it can be only accepted by a speaker or the chairman, respective cases में. 3 member committee बनती है under Judges Inquiry Act, which includes a Supreme Court judge or the CGI, a Chief Justice of High Court, and a jurist. The next article is regarding de-dollarization. Members of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on External Affairs, headed by Mr. Shashi Tharoor, questioned the government on their plans regarding de-dollarization at the upcoming BRICS summit, which is to be held in New Delhi in September. The questions come against the backdrop of the RBI's repeated advocacy for linking the official digital currencies of BRICS countries to facilitate cross-border trade and tourism payments. And the central bank, which is RBI, has argued that this framework could reduce our reliance on US dollar, and especially among geopolitical tensions, this would be a good move. Member of the committee questioned why the government was not pursuing this financial sovereignty that would help countries bypass sanctions. India's effort to establish a similar local currency trade mechanism with Russia had not taken off, they said, and sought to know whether India, as the host nation, would push for this BRICS-led de-dollarization agenda. ब्रिक्स के बारे में बैकग्राउंड डिटेल्स. मेजर इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स का एक ये ग्रुपिंग है. ब्राजील, चाइना, इजिप्ट, इथियोपिया, इंडिया, इंडोनेशिया, ईरान, रशिया, सऊदी अरेबिया, साउथ अफ्रीका एंड यूएई. Started as BRIC in 2006, inaugurated in Russia 2009, then South Africa joined in 2010. And these are the countries which recently joined, and there are some partner countries as well, which is mentioned in the last slide. Lastly, keeping India's carbon money at home. On 1st January 2026, EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism came into effect and is fully in force now. Europe calls it fairness. European producers pay a carbon price, so imports should also pay it. On paper, it sounds equitable. In practice, door to fair competition is only half open for India. European steel, aluminium, and cement producers enjoy large decarbonization subsidies and subsidized public finance. They also continue to receive free allowances under EU emission trading system, which will be phased out gradually from 26 to 2034, lowering their effective carbon cost even as CBAM phases in. And exporters, by contrast, face the full weight of CBAM charges without the state support. This tilt sits uneasily with the spirit of the GATT Article 3, which bars deploying internal charges to shield domestic producers from fair competition. The India-EU FTA, where the negotiations concluded on 27 January, provides no exception from CBAM for India. The EU held firm No country gets country specific flexibility. The deeper issue is climate justice and sovereignty. It shifts part of Europe's responsibility, the burden, onto developing countries and their exporters while keeping the resulting revenue in European hands. India's next move should be a counter adjustment, which is a India Border Adjustment Mechanism, IBAM. Rather than accepting CBAM as an inescapable external levy or a tax, India could impose its own carbon based charge on CBAM covered exports collected at the point of export. With that, we sum up the analysis. Vocab for the day. The first word is persiflage. Persiflage का मतलब होता है ताना मारना, हिंदी में बोले तो light and slightly contemptuous mockery or banter. In one word, tana marna. Badinage, raillery, banter, these are synonyms. The persiflage is not appropriate when we are discussing serious problems. The next word is confound. Confound का मतलब होता है एकदम भौचक्का हो जाना, cause surprise or confusion in someone, especially by acting against their expectations. Amaze, astonish, daze. Choice of governor may confound us all. So amaze, astonish, these are synonyms. Enlighten, assure, these are antonyms. Deference, deference मतलब किसी को अपना respect देना, submission देना. To regard someone as esteemed and be very docile and respectful, that is deference. Defiance, disobedience, hostility are antonyms. He treats her with such deference. So deference is submission and respect. Confound is surprise and confusion. Persiflage is banter or mockery. With that, we wrap up today's discussion. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a Menti quiz. So please come prepared with July current affairs. कल हम लोग Menti quiz करेंगे बढ़िया सा. Till then, take care. Tada. Bye bye. Signing off. Good night.